In the Bible, God tells us that in the beginning He created the heavens and the earth.
Job recognized star constellations by name and recognized that they were created by God.
Look up into the heavens. Who created all the stars? He brings them out like an army, one after another, calling each by its name. Because of his great power and incomparable strength, not a single one is missing.
Ancient astronomers from around the world watched the night sky, making star charts and mapping out the night sky to learn more about the universe.
Greek astronomers first called our galaxy Galaxias Kyklos, meaning Milky Circle. The Romans built off of that name and called it Via Lactea, meaning Road of Milk.
The Egyptians built the Great Pyramid to be aligned with the North Star and positioned the Giza Pyramids so they are also aligned with the stars. And the Sphinx is orientated with the summer solstice sunset.
In England, about 2000 BC, huge stones were put up in a circle to align with midsummer sunrise.
Babylonian civilizations documented movements of the sun and moon, which were important for their farming. Mayan astronomers used stars to develop a calendar important for their farming. The priests studied the stars to interpret the will of the gods and predicting great disasters.
In 387 BC, Plato wrote that the sun, the moon, the planets were all moving around the earth in perfect circles.
In 270 BC, Greek astronomer Aristarchus proposed heliocentrism, suggesting the earth revolves around the sun.
In 6 BC, Magi followed a bright light in the sky to find Jesus.
In 150 AD, Ptolemy stated that Earth was the center of the universe. This was the prevailing belief for over 1,000 years.
During the Dark Ages, Middle Eastern astronomers translated and preserved Greek astronomy texts, built observatories, and expanded astronomical knowledge.
In 1543, Nicolaus Copernicus wrote his theory that the Earth travels around the sun.
In 1608, a Dutch eyeglass maker had the idea to use lenses to make a telescope.
In 1609, Kepler wrote his theory that planets moved in elliptical orbits, not circular orbits.
Galileo Galilei used a telescope to study the night skies. He saw sunspots, craters on the moon, and identified 4 of the moons orbiting Jupiter. He also promoted a sun-centered universe.
In 1655, Christian Huygens studied Saturn. He identified Saturn's moon, Titan, and Saturn's rings.
In 1668, Isaac Newton used mirrors to make a reflecting telescope that allowed astronomers to see further into space.
In 1957, Russia launched Sputnik 1, which began the space race between Russia and the USA.
In 1969, Michael Collins, Neil Armstrong, and Buzz Aldrin traveled to the moon, ending the space race. Armstrong and Aldrin became the first 2 men to walk on the moon.
In 1981, Canada engineered a 15-meter-long robotic arm called the Canadarm.
In 1990, the Hubble Space Telescope was launched into space, and since then it has taken amazing photos of our universe.
In 1998, 15 countries came together to build the International Space Station.
In 1995, Chris Hadfield was the first Canadian to control the Canadarm.
In 2001, Chris Hadfield became the first Canadian to perform a spacewalk. With his feet attached to Canadarm, he installed Canadarm2 on the International Space Station. On March 13, 2013, Chris Hadfield became the first Canadian commander of the ISS, making him the first Canadian in history to command a spaceship.
Chris Hadfield also took some amazing photos from the ISS. He took this one, and this is what he said. In proportion, our atmosphere is no thicker than the varnish on a globe, deceptively fragile.
Today, astronomers collect data about celestial objects by using huge telescopes on the ground as well as in space. Modern telescopes, equipped with massive mirrors and cameras, allow astronomers to capture the light of very faint and faraway objects. Sensitive scientific instruments study the entire electromagnetic spectrum of light, including infrared, radio waves, and X-rays. While learning about space during these tumultuous times, it is good to know that God made the heavens and the earth and that nothing is too hard for him.